What's up guys, welcome to our new Kengan Omega video. Today I'm covering some predictions for chapter 100, the new upcoming chapter. It's very possible that some insane shit could go down, considering that chapter 50 had the return of Oma from the dead, which in my opinion is the best, if not one of the best chapters so far in Kengan Omega. I'm hoping it's some crazy stuff, but it could very well be the continuation of the Jaime and Dorota fight. Maybe we'll have Jaime finally landing a counter or throw on Dorota, or maybe him adapting more and more to Dorota's throws, or it's very possible that he could go insane like his brother Meguro, which I hope doesn't happen. It's also very possible that we'll get to see the older Jaime again as the person who sent Jaime to win a match in this tournament with all the underlying stakes regarding that. But if I'm being honest, I hope some other stuff occurs during chapter 100 that isn't directly involved with this fight currently going on. I'll cover some other cool predictions now. Be a mad lad by subscribing and joining the superior side, helping me reach my 2021 goal of 100k subscribers. I also have a Patreon for people who want various benefits while supporting the channel directly, alongside the Discord server and my Twitter. That's all linked in the description. Now enjoy the video. So a few chapters ago we had the crazy return of Kiryu Setsuna, and ever since his return we haven't seen him since. We assumed he's been talking to Garuki since the end of the Kano vs Luthien fight. We haven't seen him since. Hopefully he maybe returns chapter 100. Maybe he arrives back to the other Kengan fighters and Kiryu gets to see Oma again after these 2 years. Maybe Kiryu wasn't aware that Oma is still alive. Maybe he is. That would be a cool interaction and a pretty hype thing to happen during chapter 100. Another possibility is that maybe Kiryu meets the almighty beard Kuroki Gensai. As we know, during Kanganashira, Kuroki Gensai had a grudge against Kiryu as Kiryu killed his former master Genzan, who was a previous close friend of Kuroki, and Kuroki pretty much wanted to finish Kiryu during their fight, but as we know, Kiryu survived. But still, that'll be a cool interaction to see more Saiyan Kiryu meeting Kuroki Gensai again. But if I'm being honest, I'll prefer Kiryu to meet Oma again and maybe some other Kengan fighters. Another thing that could occur is whatever's going on with Mutaba. We know like 5 or so chapters ago that the CEO of Purgatory had given Mutaba pretty much a mission to do something for him. We don't know the circumstances of what, but I'm assuming it's something to do with Worm. Maybe the CEO doesn't trust Edward Wu anymore, or this whole Worm shit messing up his tournament. So maybe he sent Mutaba to do some surveillance on the Worms, maybe on the Kure vs Wu battle, which I'll talk about in short time. In my opinion, I think Mutaba's pretty much surveilling or doing something against the Worm. I'm guessing the CEO is over all this Worm stuff, over Edward Wu, and wants Mutaba to do some dirty work for him. So yeah, it'd be cool to see Mutaba maybe fighting a high class Worm fighter we've never seen before, or maybe someone else, who knows. Or it could be just watching the Kure Wu vs Edward faction, which I'll talk about now. So ever since the end of the Kure Ryan and Alan Wu fight, with Kure Ryan splitting Alan Wu, Kure Ryan hit legs to chase after Edward Wu and kill him, as the elder of the Kure clan, Kure Iro, pretty much issued a kill on sight order for Edward Wu, as in the past Edward killed someone who was going to take the place as the leader of the Kure clan. And the last thing we got in a chapter regarding this battle is the Kure elder and the Wu clan main branch both getting ready to go and fight Edward Wu's faction. So in chapter 100 it'll be pretty cool to see a war between Kure Wu versus Edward in his faction. Maybe Edward has Worms help him, that's why Mutaba will have a role during that or something like that. But honestly, can't wait to see Kure Ryan fighting Edward Wu, to see how much of a monster Edward Wu actually is. I'm assuming he's equivalent to serious Kure Ryan. If not, he may be a pretty disappointing character, but I'm assuming he's going to be an absolute beast. And he's also still with ZG, which makes sense to have more Worm members helping Edward fight the Kure and Wu clan. So to have chapter 100 showcase a war between those two would be absolute hype. Maybe some of the fight between Jaime and Dorota mixed in, but the majority being the Kure versus Edward faction. That would be absolute hype. I hope that's something that could occur in chapter 100. Another thing which is a reveal, which would be one of the most hyped things in all of Kengan Omega, and that the identity of the Tiger Vessel. Currently I think it's down to 3 members or maybe 4 members of Purgatory who it could be. I don't believe it's Lolong. If it is Lolong, I'll be greatly surprised. But the Tiger Vessel could very well be Faye, Dongchen, Nicholas, or Tarashi. It's most likely not Dongchen due to all the stuff with Naden and everything that happened regarding that, so you can kind of cross him out. So Tarashi, Faye, and Nicholas Lee Banner. It's definitely between those three. I'm feeling that Faye is being quite sus recently, especially with all his stuff about him being an athlete as like kinda a cover or something along those lines. Tarashi is being sus since the start, but he kinda seems like the obvious choice for me, and he seems too big to be the Tiger Vessel for some reason, as we have seen the Tiger Vessel alongside Zia G and Edward Wu, and he doesn't look like an absolute giant that Tarashi is, so I'm kinda crossing Tarashi off as well. So in my opinion, it's between Faye and Nicholas Lee Banner. We had all the Naden stuff of Dong Chen telling him not to trust Nicholas Lee Banner. That could be because he's the Tiger Vessel, but it also doesn't make sense because above everything, Naden is loyal to the Worm and the Tiger Vessel is part of Worm. We don't know the actual position or ranking of the Tiger Vessel within Worm, but considering it's part of Worm, I'm assuming Naden wouldn't be referring to Nicholas and that he's the Tiger Vessel. It could very well be the case, but I don't think so. So it looks like Faye is most likely the Tiger Vessel. So maybe during chapter 100 we could have maybe in a monologue from Faye revealing to us, the audience, no one else though, that he's the Tiger Vessel, which would be pretty cool. Maybe while watching Jaime and Drota fight, maybe Jaime or the older Jaime has connections with Worm, as we know in Kengan Ashura. He sees him fighting, realizes there a connection, and we see some inner monologue from Faye revealing that he's the Tiger Vessel to us, which would be pretty hype and pretty cool. But if I'm being completely honest, I don't think the Tiger Vessel will be revealed in chapter 100. That's more of a wish of mine. I think the reveal of the Tiger Vessel will happen when he's going to fight Oma. I'm assuming he's going to fight Oma, so when one of the final battles are going to occur, the reveal will happen and then Oma will step out to fight the Tiger Vessel or something like that. That's how I believe it's going to happen, but I can wish for a crazy chapter 100 reveal. And apart from that, I think chapter 100 will mostly consist of the fight between Jaime and Drota, and maybe sprinkle in the Kure Wu vs Edward faction, maybe some Mutaba stuff, maybe some Kiryu stuff, maybe none of it at all. Or we could have something completely different, maybe a return or reveal of a new character. A pretty hype thing could be the return of Hatsumi Sen from China, which would be pretty hype. I doubt that's going to happen during the tournament, but still a very possibility. We have no idea what Sandovich is going to do. He could blow our minds with chapter 100. Hopefully it isn't break week this week and we do get chapter 100 this week. We'll have to wait and see, but yep, that's it for today's video. Let me know your thoughts and what you think is going to happen in chapter 100 down in the comments. And yep, that's it guys. Peace.